Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom Causley from Capstone Capital Resource, and today I'm going to explain to you what transactional funding is and what it's not. Stay tuned. I hope you like my little intro there. We're down here in this little wash on my property. What is transactional funding? And what is it not? And why am I even doing it? All great questions. So I've been in contact with a lot of investors offering my services, and I've been a little surprised by how many don't exactly understand what transactional funding is. So I'll break it down for you real quick. Now, in a typical real estate transaction, a buyer is going to communicate with a seller. They're going to create a contract. There's going to be a due diligence period. There's going to be a close on the contract. The funds get released, and then the property transfers ownership. That makes plenty of sense. Most buyers tend to get some form of lending to acquire that property. Hard money loan, private money loan, DSCR loan, mortgages. These are all loans that are secured by the property itself. So if the borrower defaults, the lender can collect by foreclosing on the property. Simple as that. That's not the type of funding that I provide. So I have to explain that to a lot of people. So what do I provide? The type of lending that I can offer is needed prior to closing. The three major forms are earnest money deposits, double close funds, and then creative financing stack method funding. The thing that makes these types of loans different is that they're not secured by the property. There's no lien going out onto the property. These are escrow protected, which means that the money is deposited into escrow and lent for a shorter amount of time and then returned at the closing table. EMD is only out for about 30 to 60 days. Double close funds, 24 hours. Stack method funds, 2 to 3 days. There's security in that, and there's a lower amount of risk because the lender isn't dependent on the outcome of the property, whether or not it is successfully rented, whether or not it's successfully renovated and flipped, whether or not it cash flows effectively. These are not an issue in my business. What is important in my business is that everybody's on the same page, that the contracts are signed, and that we can move effectively through the process, and in general, just to smooth the closing process for my clients. Which brings me to why I even decided to get into this business in the first place. There's a lower risk, as I mentioned before. There's a faster turnaround on the capital, and it's a smaller niche market. If you go out there, there's 1,000,001 lenders when it comes to hard money, private money, DSCR. There's not a ton of transactional funders, and there's far less that are able to do stack method deals. That is an excellent opportunity for developing a new business. So I hope you all found that informative. I hope you leave today knowing what transactional funding is and what it is not. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Contact me, Tom Causley at Capstone Capital Resource, and we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, like right back through here, there's a little creek. I've seen some deer over there this morning. I'll put it in here. I'll follow up with that. So, talk to you later. There's some big bucky boys out in the front yard this morning.